咁今次我兩個地方我都貼啦嚇 ，Google Meet 同埋 WhatsApp 我都貼啦，咁你可以方便啲兩都睇到。喂，試音。好，咁我貼喺 Google Meet 度先啦。跟住 WhatsApp 亦都貼啦。Oh, hello YouTube。Hi, hello。我喺 WhatsApp 召喚一下頭先未見嗰位同學先。哦 ，OK， 見到啦 ，OK， 好見到啦，陳柱人 Hanson 好見到啦 ，OK 好點埋你咁就齊人。呢23我點都未，23都 OK， 好 update 下。Okay, so that's it. Okay, so everyone is here now. Okay, so maybe not. Okay. So a little time more, and we wait everyone to be here. Also, everyone switch to YouTube for the live lesson of today. And while we are preparing, you can also prepare the notes sets that I sent you through the Google Classroom yesterday. The set which is called S4 Chapter 0, which is a preliminary chapter. According to our teaching schedule, we will talk about Chapter 4 first. But then before the Chapter 4, we have this preliminary chapter 0. To have a brief idea about relations, and also have some very early understanding about graphs. Since suddenly to begin with the chapter 4, it may be a little bit confusing. But then I will not say it is difficult. It is in fact very straightforward and easy. But then it would be a good idea to have some like a quick introduction here first for relation. Also, you can prepare the note sets. I'm also going to show it. I'll turn off the cover photo and then change to the iPad display. Okay, so this is the set of notes, the set of worksheet that I sent you yesterday in Google Classroom. From the content here, you can see there are 3 sections in this small chapter about relations. We will try to represent relation using different ways. The first one will be algebraic, which is the most mathematical one because we always like to represent things using equation. For example, we have a relation between different quantities, maybe in lower form in science, you will have some experiment about boiling water, and you put the water in the heater, and after different time, then you can measure the temperature, and then the time and temperature there are some relation between them, and so if in a most mathematical way, we can represent it into algebraic form or an equation form, then it would be a very good way to for us to do follow up. For example, like do some prediction or to estimate something. Okay, so algebraic way. While the second one will be a tabular representation. So sometimes algebraic way is not easy, then using a table can help us to do it in an easier way. And finally, the third section will be use graph to represent. And when we say graph, then usually it will be something about the graph paper. That means a paper with many grids, many horizontal, vertical lines. And then so we represent it in a graph. And using a graph is also a very good way because it helps us to visualize the relation, to see the relation, but not just from equations, but not just from numbers, but we can see it in a picture way. Okay, so these are the three sections. I hope in the lesson of today we can talk about all these. Well, some of the section may be more straightforward or easy, but then well, I would also like to mention here that sometimes, especially when we learn mathematics, we very often we will shift our focus because that's the education system of Hong Kong. We always focus on examination. We always focus on results and marks, scores. But then, in fact, I think learning mathematics is it is more important to understand why than know how. Understanding why it can be done like this is more important than knowing how to do this. Take a quick example. I think this example will be more vivid when I say it in Cantonese. Therefore, I change the channel a little bit. 咁大家應該咧小學嗰陣時咧，你都肯定係好熟嘅，有學過嘅一個譬如兩位數嘅乘法嚇，即係譬如我喺度上面稍稍寫少少嘢，咁16乘35咁樣啦，咁乘，咁大家都應該小學嗰時好熟㗎啦。你而家唔熟唔緊要，你唔記得咗唔緊要，冇問題嘅，因為你已經用咗幾年 Cal 啦 ，OK 明白嘅。所以咁你識點樣做㗎呢個？即係如果你小學嗰時，咁你即係36、18啦，咁然後31得3就4啦，咁然後補0啦，跟住就5、6中30啦，咁5、1得5啦，咁進翻3，所以就8啦，咁所以就560咁樣。咁大家都明嘅，即係大家曾經一定會識過㗎。你而家唔記得咗我覺得都正常嘅，都明白嘅。咁當然記得就梗係好啲啦。咁OK，咁問題就係你知道咁做嚇 ，know how， 咁你知唔知點解咧 ？Understand why。咁就呢樣嘢，即係我想俾個概念大家，你學數學咧，係即係你知道點做，當然都好好嚇，你考試會攞到分。咁但係咧，你係知唔知佢背後點解咧？嗱，咁你即係你可以唔使一定要答我啦，但係你知道即係你譬如睇翻一個兩位乘兩位嘅直式寫法，咁你其實你識唔識嘅咧？即係你知唔知點解嘅咧？定係可能你小學嘅時候老師教你咁樣做就得㗎啦，咁於是乎就。OK， 咁算啦。咁我覺得呢啲可能其實如果真係喺課室講會好少少㗎，即係可能大家可以即刻好容易咁樣即係表達到意見啊、點解啊咁樣，你知嘅又可以講點解啊，唔知嘅又可以一齊去分享啊咁。咁但係而家就網上課堂冇計啦嚇。咁但係So I just want to take this example to show you use learning mathematics. In fact, if you understand the reason why we can do something, then it will be better than just knowing how to do something. Especially it will be more true when we go to the other part of mathematics, the M2 part. But then of course here we are not all of you are M2 students. Therefore I try not to talk too much on that. By the way, talking about the way of calculation here, why we can do this is that because we are trying to separate the multiplication into two parts. We multiply 3 first with a 0. That means we multiply 30. And then we multiply 5 and add them together. That is exactly the way of removing brackets. And so in fact this the calculation here I show is in fact exactly removing brackets. Okay, so that's the case. And by the way, I would like to show also the chat room is bugged. Always the chat room is bugged. I always have to refresh it. Yeah, and then the messages come out. Okay. So, okay, we'll begin. The first part 1 and part 2 will be a bit more straightforward, and if you are talking about just knowing how to do it, it is quite easy. Therefore, I just take a few examples. Well, my focus will be on the section 3, the part about graph, because graph is also an important but sometimes confusing thing in when students start learning is this. Okay, so we begin with the first one. Algebraic expression. So just like the example I mentioned earlier in lower form science, for example, when you boil water, you will notice how much time you boil the water against against the temperature of the water. That means, for example, it can be reasonable. It seems makes sense that when you boil water for a longer time, then its temperature will increase. And so the temperature and the time of boiling, they should have a relation. And then so this is the relation we are going to talk about here. Excuse me. And then mathematically, in mathematics, we like to represent the relations. So we can take an example. By the way, I have to thank Mr. Mock for making this set of notes, because this set of notes is all made by him, and then he is so generous and share it with me and also other teachers. And therefore, you can see some of them are quite interesting dialogues. So we also go through some of them. So here we want to talk about the relation, and using algebraic way. That means that we use mathematic ways. Especially algebraic means there are some numbers, some symbols. So we try to use symbols and numbers, and then to represent a relation. Okay, so welcome you all to S4. Okay, welcome you all to S4. And then so here are the two guys, and then we will talk about relation here first. Okay, so as in the question 1, it takes 2 apples. Okay. By the way, I also want to mention it here first. This set of notes, the questions in this set of notes later will be our first assignment, and therefore, so if you have a printer to print it out the notes, that's okay, because you can just later take photo, like the test assignment we did before. So you can print the worksheet out and then fill it in and then take photos and then submit it later. So this will be our first assignment, this set of notes, the whole set. But on the other hand, if you don't have a printer at home, then you can still work on foolscap paper or just A4 paper, A4 white blank paper, and then you can also work on it and then take photos and then upload. Okay, so that will be our first assignment. I will also post it on Google Classroom later. So therefore, when we go through here, it is also good that you write down. Okay, so then you can save some work from homework. Okay, so the first one, let's see what is the relation. It takes 2 apples to make an apple pie. So make 1 apple pie, we need 2 apples. And then to make X apple pies, we need Y apples. So try to write down a relation between X, Y. That means here, if we are doing it in an algebraic way, we try to see if we can write an equation. Now, when we talk about algebra, then there will be symbols, there will be equal or unequal or bigger, smaller, etc. So we try to write an equation to show the result. Okay, so let's do it. So write a relation between X and Y. So that means we just want an equation, an equal sign, and then with X and Y here. X is the number of apple pies. Y is the number of apple. But we need 2 apples for 1 apple pie. Therefore, how many apple pies we can make? X is equal to, so each of the apple pie need 2 apples. Therefore, it will be 2Y. Okay, then this is a relation. This is an algebraic form of the relation. But later we want to see more. Algebraic form, is there any other representation, other ways to represent? Or other like a table or like in a graph. Okay, so we will see it later. And part B also asks you then about using the equation. So when Y is 16, what is X? Therefore, very directly, you can put Y to be 16 and get the X. So X is 216. Or maybe even better, okay, maybe a even better presentation would be put Y to be 16, then X is 2, 16, and 32. Okay, so this is the value of X when Y is 16. And so this shows, this is an example of a relation. The number of apple pies against the number of apples here. Then this is a kind of a relation. Here we try to represent this relation in an algebraic way. And that means we use symbols, we use equation, we use symbols to show this relation. And this relation is good. This way to show using algebra, using equation to show it is good because it is precise and concise. That means you have the equation here. Then I can easily ask you when y is 16, what is x? Then we can calculate using the equation. Or even if we're doing the reverse, like if I ask you what is when x is like 20, then what is y? You can still find it. When x is 20, what is this y? You can still find it. Okay, then the equation form is good because it helps us to solve some problems, some obvious problems. It can help us to solve this. But what else? There are also ways to do it with a table and graph. And therefore, we will, here it says save for tomorrow. No, we don't save it for tomorrow. We do it now, okay? We try to save time. We don't save it for tomorrow. Okay, so then there are more about using equation later in the later parts. But then I suppose this may not be very hot. Therefore, I will leave it to you. But then maybe I just talk about one of it. Okay, so sorry, back to here. We talk about this question 2 as well, and then for the others in this section, it will be your homework later. Okay, so let's also talk about this question 2. So in a store, the price of a can of Coke is $5, $5 for Coke, and the price of a pack of chocolate is $6. And then Mary buys 3 cans of Coke, and then N packs of chocolates, and then she needs to pay P dollars, and try to make a relation between P and N. Okay, that is by a relation. And so make a the P is the money she needs to pay finally. Therefore, maybe on the left hand side will be good. Then P is the total amount of money she needs to pay. Then it is according to Coke 3 cans and chocolate N packs. Then it will be $5 and 3 for free. Then times 3. And also the other one, add them up for the total price, then add to $6 for each pack of chocolate and then N packs. And doing simplification, always when we do if it is possible, do simplification. 5 times 3, you know how to do it. Therefore, always change it. 15 plus 6N. Therefore, that is the relation between P and N. In fact, if it is in exam, you will usually not asked to do like this. Instead, you will be asked, for example, like express P in terms of something, because it is easy for markers to mark. But for your understanding, a relation between two quantities, it means an equation. Algebraically, it means an equation that connects the two symbols, the two unknowns, the two variables. Okay, and then the part B is if Mary needs to pay $57, then what is the value of N? Therefore, Mary pays 57, and then this Mary pays is P. 57 is P. Therefore, we put P to be 57. I think this is this part may be a little bit boring because it's really easy. I think it should be easy for all of you, right? Is it so? It should be easy to all of you. And then I just change P to 57, and then and find the N. And here now it says we change the formula, the equation, into an equation to solve. That means we solve the equation and help us to find N. Therefore, subtract 15. Then it's 42. 42 divided by 6 is 7. By the way, talking about doing work, I usually accept normal skipping steps. Normal skipping step means like this. I write an equation and I can do calculation, for example, like in the calculator. Then I can get the answer. Then those steps can be skipped. But if you just write the answer, then of course it is not acceptable, because I need to know whether you can write the first step. But the middle solving step, okay, calculation step, usually it's okay for you to skip. but then only answer is not just acceptable. Okay, so this is part about relation. There are more examples like word problems, or sometimes on the other hand, the reverse give you the equation and try to understand it in words. Okay, so but I think they are not difficult. Therefore, I leave it to you for your homework later. Okay, and then we will see. What have we learned this part? We can represent a relation algebraically. That means use an equation. And then if we have an equation, we can also find the unknown and understand what it describes. Alright, so this is the first part about equation. Is it easy to you? So show me some response in the chat room. Is it easy? Do you understand this? Easy? Is it easy? Okay. Understood. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the response. Okay, so that's good. So we will see more about relation. What else can we do apart from writing equation? So sometimes writing equation is easy, it's good, it's also precise, because we can know exactly what are the numbers relating. But then sometimes of course equation may not be easy. For example, think about it. If you can make a relation between the stock market price, 即係嗰個例如恒生指數啊，股市價格 stock market price and time. Okay, if you can make an equation between them, 你可以將股市價格同埋嗰個時間揾條方程式連起佢 equal 咗佢。Then it's very good because you can know what exactly will be the stock market price tomorrow. Because you can just put the time for tomorrow and then you can calculate the stock market price. Then that's really good. However, we know it's impossible because if everyone knows this equation, then there's nothing to all people will win. But that's not possible because we will not know the future. And so sometimes equation is not possible. Therefore, and it is also why this reason we need other ways to represent. Okay, therefore, okay, so finding unknown constant. That's also the part for the equation part. Therefore, I will also put this as your homework as well. Again, it's like simplifying, writing the equation, writing the equation, and then also finding the unknowns. Okay, so I will also leave it to you by yourself. Okay, so and then so next part. What about other ways to represent? So another way to do it will be sometimes we can do it with a table. Especially this is a very good way, especially in science, because in science we can do experiments to collect data. For example, the very early example I said, you boil water, you can collect at different time the temperature. Then we can collect data, and by collecting data, we can get some sets of relations between the quantities. And then so we have some of the data, then we can put them into a table. Let's see how a table works to us here. A table is also good because we can see the numbers really. We can really see the number. But in an equation, we can just see the equal sign, but we don't know what is x, what is y. But with a table, we can really see what are the x and y. And therefore, it is good it is good to, for example, see some trends or to understand the meaning behind, for example. Okay, so let's see also some example about using a table to represent a relation. Here, an earthworm is the first question. An earthworm is 10 mm long today. So it's 10 mm long, and then it will grow by 2 mm each day. After n days, the length is L. So we try to find this length L, express L in terms of m. So we try to express it. However, sometimes it can be confusing. Therefore, in fact, I suggest filling in the table first. It will be more maybe easier. I mean, filling in the table is easy, but using the table to help us write the L will maybe even better, because let me guess. When you write this part A without anything, without I say anything, you just try to do the part A. let me guess how many of you will get that correct. Okay, but then okay, you can try to have an idea what is part A by yourself first. But for me, I try to do part B first. I fill the table with you, and then goes back to check that part A. You have an idea. Okay, so we fill the table first. To fill the table, n is 0. Then we want to know the length. So n is 0. That means after 0 days. After 0 days. Then after 0 days, that means it is still today. Therefore, it is 10 mm. So 0, then L is 10. While after 1 day, so after 1 day it grows by 2 mm each day. Therefore, tomorrow it will be 12. And after 2 days, get more by 2 again. Get more by 2 again. So I try to skip it. It's a little bit boring like this. And then so fill the table. Okay, fill the table is easy. Then what about the express L in terms of n? So let's check. Before I try to ask you. Okay, so have an idea what is it. So check is it also. So since it is when n is 0, it should be 10. Therefore, check the let's check the answer together. It is it should be 2n plus 10. Is it so? Is it so? Is your answer the same as the one I've written here? Same? Same? No? Same? Yes? No? One way to check. That's also why sometimes equation is not so easy. From here the table. You have different sets of data. And when we say different representation, okay, it is that this set of data put into the equation, they should represent the same thing. This set of data put into the equation, they should represent the same thing. And so if they are the same, that's okay. That's okay. But if you find for some of the data set you put into the equation, that's not okay, then that would be the problem. Oh, let me explain why I do the table first and then the equation. Because if the question is changed a little bit, but I'm not changing it really, but then I just say if I change the question a little bit, I try to say it is not to say today, but I say it is day 1, and then I change it by at day n. Its length will be L. Then this relation will be a little bit different. Do you understand what I mean? If I change today to day 1, but then after n days I change it to at day n, then the relation will be a little bit different. Do you understand what I mean? Or maybe I change to blue color, different color, it may be shown easier. Maybe blue, okay, change to blue. I don't say it's today, I call it day 1, while I say this is at day n. Then, in fact, this relation will be quite different. You know what I mean by quite different? Because it will be instead become 2n plus 8. Agreed? Do you agree? Because also the table will be quite differently. There are no more 0 because the first day is already day 1. And therefore when it is if I try to say day 1 and day n, then the day 1 it will be 10, day 2 it will be 12, day 3 it will be 14, day 4 it will be 16. And then the case here it will be, if I change it, it is not about today, but instead I call it day 1, day 2, day 3 and up to day n. And then the relation will then be, so you see this is 110, so 110, it would be like this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Still thank you very much. It is exactly the case, because here the difference is the difference here is the day number. The difference here is the day number. Therefore, sometimes when we define the variable, it will have to be also careful. 我呢度可能轉 channel 講少少啊。個分別係乜嘢？就係咧嗱，如果呢個 today 咧，你對翻個數字咧就係、如果我喺紅色字嘅呢個表 today 咧係0日嚟嘅，因為 after n days 如果對 today 嚟講對 today 嚟講 after n days 咧就係 n 係0啦。咁咧，但係咧，如果我轉咗頭先另外嗰個講法，即係藍色嗰個講法咧咁就係如果我叫 today 係 day one， 咁唔係再叫 after n days，而係 at day n 咧，咁你發覺咧就係、如果係 today 係 day one 嘅話咧，咁你嗰個 today 就變咗係 day one 啦，即係 n 係1啦。所以個分別咧就係、你喺描述嗰個 unknown 嘅時候啊，即係話如果紅色嗰個講法咧，即係我唔係藍色字嗰啲咧，咁 today 咧就係 n 等於0。但係如果我另一個描述用藍色字嗰個描述咧 ，today 就變咗 n 等於1。咁所以個位會褪咗一格咯。And therefore, that is the part to be careful when, for example, especially when we write equation. But for making a table, usually the confusion is not so big. Okay, that is the thing to talk about. Is it okay? Is it okay to? So especially, I see Elaine says confused. Is it okay now? Better? So the red part and the blue part. The red part today means n equal to 0. But when I describe it in a different way, I describe it in the blue words, then today will be n equal to 1. That's the little difference. And also I think it is a kind of a comprehension, understanding of the situation, understanding of the meaning of the words. So is it okay? Is it okay? Yes. Okay. Hopefully it's really yes. Okay. No, but don't worry. Okay. If you have more questions, something more you don't understand, don't worry. You can always feel free. You are always very welcome to find me. For example, you can find me in WhatsApp. You can PM me in WhatsApp, or maybe if you want a more direct answers, you want to talk in real time, then you can go to Discord. The Discord link here on top. And then so go to the Discord, and then we can do voice chats, and then I can immediately respond to you, like just talking to one another, and then real time. And then any question you can immediately say, but no need to type anything. Also a table form. Let's see more different kinds of relation here. So the second one about spaceship. A spaceship accelerates from west after t seconds. Then it will have traveled for d. So the two things we want to compare is the time, t seconds, and also the distance traveled, the d meters. And then it is given. This time you are given the equation. You don't need to write down by yourself. The question gives you the relation. And try to represent it with a table. Then let's take 1 minute together and fill it. Let's take 1 minute. In fact, 30 seconds may be enough. Okay, so let's finish it at when the live clock is 9:19. Okay, 19. Let's finish it. So represent the relation between d and t by the table below. When t is 0, when t is 1, when t is 2, when t is 3, when t is 4. Oh, okay, 19秒，19分之前做完。Okay, then also we try to see some more understanding. Then how far will it travel within the third second? That means how much it will travel from 3 to 4. That means it is within the first second. Oh, okay. Sorry. I think I should explain it better. Okay. So, how far will it travel from within the first second? So, we can group it up by what? This is the first second it has traveled, and then the second second. Okay. Anyway, the third second. Okay, the third second. Then it is how much it will travel from within the first second. That means from the second second to the third second. 第2秒同第3秒啊 ，OK， 咁就係第3秒啦，2秒同3秒之間就第3秒啦 ，OK， So second, and third second. Therefore, how much it has traveled? Then it is from the position for 8 meter to the position for 18 meter. That means if we try to represent it in a line to show the position, then maybe at first. And then 1 second, it will be 2 here, 1 second. And then maybe further away, 2 seconds. And therefore, how far it will travel? It will be 18 minus 8, which is 10 meter. So it is about understanding. So after making the table, what is it useful to us? And if using the equation, it will not be so direct. If we use the equation to help us get this, then it would be like you have to put some t and then understand it and then to take the subtraction. But with the table, we can show this easily. Okay, therefore, sometimes using a table will be a convenient way to display the data and also to understand the data. Of course, equation is good because for equation we can put in things and calculate. Okay, we can put in things and then calculate. But if it is we have a table, we can also see how it increase, how it goes, how the trend it is. So it is more easier. Alright, so others are like that. Therefore, I think maybe we don't talk so much about it because I would also like to go to the later part about using the table to help us do it. So all these are help making the table. But then what about what about if I use the table to help us get back something? For example, I don't exactly know the equation. Can we use table to help us get back the equation? Because we know equations are good. We can use equations to find everything. Put x to be something, then we can get the other one. But sometimes the equation is not easy. What about we have a table and get the equation and the relation? Okay. So let's see the next part, which is a 2-2, the unit 2-2. The unit 2-2 part. While the 2-1 part, I'll leave it to you to do by yourself. Okay. And by the way, I checked that. Okay. We have a lesson tomorrow, I suppose. I checked it before. Is it so? Let me check. Oh, sorry. So yes, tomorrow we have lesson. But then I don't want you to be so rushed, so hurry. Therefore, I will not put this as a homework for tomorrow, but then it may be next week. But then so I'll give you some time, and then you finish this set of work over the weekend. Okay. So and then now let's go to the unit 2-2 question 1 here and see the example. What about using a table to help us find something? So our final goal here is, in fact, we try to solve an equation like this: 6x minus x squared equal to 8. It is exactly chapter 1, which means we will really go to it to understand how to do later. But now, as a first lesson here in mathematics, we try to give you an introduction. So we will have a systematic way to solve this. It is called a quadratic equation. Quadratic means power 2. So you see there is a power 2, x power 2 here. And then when we try to solve, it is not so easy because we cannot easily make subject for x. There is a x term and also an x squared term, and so not so easy to make the x subject and find x equal to something. But we will learn skills later. But we just try to understand the situation. Okay, so let's try to have some words and to make the situation more interesting. If a shop produces X bags of cookies every hour, so a cookie is X bags, and the hourly profit will be Y dollars. And also the equation is given here: y equal to 6x minus x squared. And then now we try to fill the table again. So we don't take too much time here. I see the time is about 10 minutes left. Therefore, we got to be fast. And so x is 0, 0. X is 1, then 6 minus 1, 5. X is 2, then 12 minus 4 is 8. X is 3, then 18 minus 9, it is 9. X is 4, then 24 minus 16 is 8. X is 5, then 30 minus 25 is 5. X is 6, then 36 minus 36 is 0. Okay, so fill the table. I think filling the table part is just pressing calculator. Or if you can do math well in your mind, maybe you don't really need to press calculator. And then now, if the hourly profit is $8, how many bags of cookies is produced per hour? That is, now the profit is $8. That means the profit is Y, so Y is 8. Y is 8 here. And then so from the table, we can see where where is 8, when Y is 8. And we can see Y is 8, Y is 8. Therefore, going back to the how many bags of cookies, then we can read from the table X is 2 and 4. Therefore, for the part 1, then the number of cookies should be 2 or 4. And so you can see there can be more than one cases. So in here, from the table, we can read X equal to 2 and X equal to 4. Both give us the profit is $8. Okay, so part 1 here, 2 and 4 are the answer. But well, when we see this this question has some words, therefore it has a situation underlying. But then, well, in fact, you can see the relation, the situation in the question, and also y equal to 8. In fact, it is helping us to solve this equation. That means if we are to solve the equation 6x minus x squared equal to 8, it should have the same result as the part 1. Therefore, when part 2, when we are to solve this, then we can immediately just use the part 1 result. By part 1, because they are exactly the same situation, this the situation of cookies and profit is the same as this solving this equation. And therefore, by part 1, we can say x is equal to 2 or 4. Okay, maybe I should write a better way. X equal to 2 or x equal to 4. Okay, so you can see if we made a table, it helps us to find unknowns in an easier way. And also, you can have a different view here. Would be before when usually when teacher asks you to solve an equation, you can get an answer. But then now, here the equation to solve here, when we solve this equation, you see we can get 2 answers. And for more details, we will put this when we go to chapter 1 again. Okay, we will go through this when we go to chapter 1 again. But then as this chapter 0 a preliminary one, and therefore we will we first have more idea. So is it okay for this one? This time we make a table and use the table to help us solve an equation. So is it okay? If there are any questions, please feel free to ask. Anytime when you have question, please feel free to ask. Is it okay? Okay, thank you. I hope it is not really too easy, but as a first lesson, first time, I think maybe easier things will be better. However, sometimes easy will be boring. Okay, we try to strike the balance. Okay, question 2 is also quite like you make the table according to the situation. This time it's about stock market, and then try to solve equation. Part C there are further solving equations, but I think it is still not hard to do it. Okay, so I will leave it to you as homework to do. Okay, while question 3 is also. So this is the whole section 2. That means 2.1 and 2.2. The whole section 2 is that we try to represent a relation using table, and then table is easier to see the relation between the numbers, and also to help us to do some solving way. Okay, then finally maybe not quite enough time. Because the graph part is the one I mostly want to talk about. Okay, that's it. Maybe we don't talk too much about it here. And in fact, I know my live clock is a little bit slower because my live clock here is 9:30. but then my phone tell me it's 9:32. That means only 3 minutes left. Okay, so maybe for the rest of time you can begin working with your this homework. We have talked about Unit 1 and Unit 2 here, and then there are some empty questions here. You can do it right now, and then if there are any questions, please feel free to find me, ask me through whatever way you can find. Especially now this online lesson time, and so sometimes we cannot just directly face to face see each other. So find any online way to find me. Okay. So maybe that's it for this part. Let's go on and talk about those. You can go on and do those the sections in section 1 and section 2. Okay. Where will we submit this worksheet? As I said before, I will not ask you to submit tomorrow, but instead maybe next week. Let me see the timetable. Maybe. Next lesson we have is next Tuesday. Next Tuesday for mathematics. I mean next week. Next week it will be Tuesday. Therefore, maybe is it good to hand in next Monday night? Next Monday night. That means the 7th of September at night. I usually like to collect the work before 23:59. Yeah. So the homework is question. In fact, the homework is for both sections. Section 1, as you can see from the screen here, section 1, the remaining questions, question 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then section 2 also starting from 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then up to section 2, the table I've done some with you, but the others. That means, okay, maybe to say specifically, it will be page 1 to 9 of the worksheet. Okay, page 1 to 9. So homework, page 1 to 9 of the worksheets, and then submit it next Monday night, 9th of September, 23:59 due time. I will also put this into your online handbook. Do you know there is an online handbook? You can go to the SPYC net and go to the academic committee, and then there is an online handbook. And okay, time is up. I just try to show it really quick. Okay, I show you an online handbook. Okay, I need to change the screen. A little bit rush here. Sorry. Okay. I try to show you an online. There is an online handbook, and you can find, because a teacher give assignment, and then it will be put into the online handbook. Okay, so you can see the SPYC net page here. You can go to school administration. Committees and society. And then academic committee, and then you can use your Google login, and you can see the class schedule. 在家學習功課測驗記錄表，呢個就係你嘅網上嘅手冊啊。Okay, and then you can, I think maybe you may not see all, I don't know, but you can see at least your own class, 4D. Then you can see all the homeworks here. You can see all the homeworks here. Nani? Yes, there is an online handbook. 嗱，如果你唔知咧，就代表一樣嘢啦，就係你冇專心聽阿黃副校嘅分享啦。嗱，不過我唔阻你啦，因為我知道夠鐘噶啦，所以大家就要去另一個堂度上。咁你喺呢度咧，你會見到有個網上嘅手冊㗎。咁我呢度都會啦，我會將我喺9月7號呢度啦，就我會寫翻嗰個要交嘅功課，就係呢個第1至9頁。OK， 就咁啦。好，咁有咩問題就下面留言講啦嚇。又或者中意嘅片就 like、share、comment 啊 ，OK， 咁就係啦。咁我哋今日完啦，咁我哋聽日都有堂嘅，我哋會完埋呢份 worksheet 啦。OK，so we'll go on next time. So see you guys later. Goodbye.